Before we get started with another awesome episode with Irith Bloom, just wanted to let you know that for those of you interested in our Pitbull series, we're going to be starting on Thursday, August 25th. We have a bunch of great guests lined up. You'll learn a lot about pit bulls, and we'll also have some fun giveaways. So stay tuned for the beginning of our Pitbull series on Thursday, August 25th. On to the show. This is Paw Print, an animal rescue community, episode 62. I'm Harold Ree.
And I'm Nancy Ree. Today's guest is Irith Bloom.
Keep the dog in the yard with you. You're going to play. You're going to do awesome things. You're going to throw toys. Whatever turns the dog on, you're going to do that for at least 5 or 10 minutes.
Irith is a positive reinforcement dog trainer and owner of her own training service, The Sophisticated Dog, in the Los Angeles, California area. Our interviews with Irith are like potato chips. You can't have just one. Today, we discuss the topic of potty training, how to create a positive environment so your dog uses the backyard as opposed to, say, your favorite rug. If you want to learn more about Irith Bloom, go to our show notes at thisispawprint.com/62. That's the number 62.
And don't forget, Irith provides 2 free resources that you can use in your dog training. Go to thisispawprint.com/ask to sign up. We'll call this with the elegant title of Poop in the House. Poop in the House.
And this is another one of those scenarios. How frustrating. I'm out there in the cold, in the rain, and waiting, and then I bring you indoors, and the minute I bring you indoors, you poop. It can be really, really frustrating. So I will say typically, if a client came to me with this question, I would have about 20 minutes of questions for them. And so since I can't ask those questions, I'm going to mention what some of them would be so that people can explore these ideas themselves. So, first of all, what is the house training routine for this dog in general? Is the dog confined? Is the dog in a crate? Is the dog in a pen in between time outside? Is the dog loose in the house? These are all going to make a difference. How many times a day is the dog going out? And also, have you kept a schedule of when the pooping is happening? Is it like I feed the dog and half an hour later he has to poop? Or is it I'm not quite sure what time of day it is because I haven't taken notes? Or for some dogs, honestly, it's just random. Like they don't seem to have a very regular schedule. These are all things that we're going to want to know the answer to. But I can tell you what some of the common problems are that lead to this issue. So first of all, the dog may never have been house trained in the first place. Obviously, with a rescue, you never know. And the dog may even have been confined, say, in a crate in a pet store or something where the only choice they have is to poop right where they are, and they're used to pooping indoors. And those can be pretty tough situations. We'll hope that in this case what's going on is the dog just doesn't know that you're supposed to poop outside, and maybe it is cold or rainy, and the dog is more comfortable indoors.
Right.
So the first step is going to be to go back to basic house training, which means the dog has to be confined or supervised, or outdoors. Those are the only 3 situations that are allowed. Either the dog is confined, the dog is closely supervised, which means I am literally watching the dog, or the dog is outdoors where it's appropriate to poop. Now, once you've got that set up, so you have either a crate for the dog where he's going to be when he's confined, or you have maybe an X pen. You can even put down pee pads in the X pen. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. And there's a very distinctive indoors, outdoors. When we're inside, I'm either with my human, closely supervised. If they notice that I'm starting to circle and look like I'm going to poop, they're going to run me outdoors. Or I'm in my confinement space. And when I'm outdoors, the human is going to be very, very, very boring, which it sounds like this particular person is doing. They say they're trying to stay outside in the yard patiently. They're probably just standing there being boring, which is great. Mm-hmm. But only stay boring for about 5 minutes. And if nothing happens, go back indoors.
Gotcha.
What tends to happen is we want the dog to poop. We're like waiting. We're like, okay, I'm out in the yard with you. Okay, go ahead and poop. Oh, you haven't pooped yet. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. You haven't pooped yet. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. you haven't pooped yet. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. And the next thing you know, 20 minutes have gone by and the dog is like, this is awesome. 20 minutes out in the yard, because they're really enjoying themselves out there. So why should they poop if when they poop, what you do is you bring them right back indoors? So 5 minutes outdoors, I'm totally boring. If the dog doesn't poop, the dog goes back in the confinement space. After 10 minutes in the confinement space, 5 minutes outdoors, I'm totally boring. Dog doesn't poop, back in the confinement space. Keep repeating that pattern. It's good to try this on a weekend, by the way, because adult dogs can often learn this very quickly.
Right.
So repeat that pattern on the weekend when you have the time. And then when the dog does poop in the yard, that's your signal to leave the dog in the yard. I don't mean leave the dog alone in the yard, but keep the dog in the yard with you. You're going to play. You're going to do awesome things. You're going to throw toys, whatever turns the dog on. You're going to do that for at least 5 or 10 minutes. So the message to the dog becomes, as soon as you poop, I stop being boring and I start playing with you and you get extra playtime outdoors. Instead of, as soon as you poop, playtime outdoors ends.
This is amazing.
And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And this is the biggest mistake I see with people. They'll be like, I take my dog on 30 minutes walks and he doesn't poop. Well, what do you do when he does poop? Oh, I turn around and I go home. Well, the 30-minute walk should be a privilege that you earn by pooping early in the walk. Or 30 minutes in the yard playing, a privilege that you earn by pooping in the yard quickly. Having said all of this, this will take time. Dogs don't learn instantly. I wish we could explain it to them in English, but unfortunately, they don't speak very good English, and we can't explain it to them. So in the meantime, you want to avoid your dog making a mess in the house. So one thing you can do is you can set up an exercise pen, and let's say that you need to leave. So you can't keep doing this routine over and over. You need to leave the dog in the house, but the dog hasn't pooped and you really don't want him stuck in a crate where he's going to be completely uncomfortable and he's going to explode potentially, and that'll be a real mess. Then what you're going to do is get an exercise pen and you're going to just literally paper the floor with pee pads. There are pee pads all over the floor, so the dog can't miss the pee pad. And then you'll see whether the dog poops on the pee pads or not. Hopefully he will. And then what you'll say is, okay, he seems to like this corner over here, so I'm going to remove one of the pee pads from the opposite corner of the pen. And you're going to slowly start to remove pads and see if he'll prefer the pads over the floor. And then here's where it gets really helpful to have the pee pads. If you're still having trouble getting the dog to poop outdoors, what you then do is you go outdoors and you bring a pee pad with you. And you put it in the yard. And that's a surface that they say, oh, I'm supposed to poop on this surface. And then they go on that surface. And then the next day you go out and you cut about an inch off of the pee pad. And every day you cut an extra inch off of the pee pad so that the dog has his feet more and more on the grass or the dirt or the gravel and less on the pee pad. And in the meantime, you're shrinking the pee pads in the pen area so that there's only 1 or 2. And if the dog goes in there, okay, fine. At least he's not missing and making a mess. And over time, you should be able to get the dog transitioned over to going outside with no pee pad. And then you can take the pee pad away from indoors. And many times dogs will say, oh, the surface is different. I'm not supposed to go in here. And they'll learn to go outside instead.
That's great. Just to let you know, Irith also offers husband training on the side as well. So, no, just joking.
That's right.
We want to say thank you to Irith Bloom for sharing some wonderful advice. If you want to learn more about Irith and the sophisticated dog, go to our show notes at thisispawprint.com/62. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a future guest on Paw Print, you can go to our contact page, thisispawprint.com/contact. If you want to listen to more episodes of Paw Print, you can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Pocket Casts, and YouTube. Make sure to hit subscribe to get the latest episodes immediately. Find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Look for This is Paw Print, all one word. Finally, just want to say thank you to all of you for sharing Paw Print with your friends and family. And remember that you spread a positive message of love and peace by saving an animal. Have a great day, everyone, and see you next time with another great guest on Paw Print.
Paw Print is a production of EVER Education.
You can't handle the truth.